Hi,
Hello
everyone.
again, everybody.
Hey,
Hello.
How's everyone doing today?
awesome.
Great.
Awesome is good. I like awesome.
Indeed.
I'm doing great.
All right. So first of all, welcome back everyone to our next live stream for our Farmcraft preseason, not Fivecraft preseason, Farmcraft preseason. So happy to be back again. We've had some amazing submissions since our last live stream. We will absolutely be sharing those in just a minute. But before we do, as always, introductions are in order. So Cathy, we're going to throw it over to you. Let's start with you.
Yay. Hi, everyone. I'm Cathy Chao-Isaacs. I'm a global Minecraft mentor and game design teacher at William Annan Middle School and Ridge High School in New Jersey. I'm super excited for our fourth Farmcraft live stream and psyched to play today with Erik. And should I throw it to Brian?
Throw it to Brian,
Gotcha.
the
Caught
mayor
it.
of Farmcraft.
The mayor. Yes. Order, order. Okay. Hey guys, I'm Brian, also known as Clever Like. I started programming when I was in like 6th grade on the Commodore computer and never stopped since. And now I get to make Minecraft games for a living. So I am working on creating the challenge game that you'll be playing.
And so far, we love it. So they got a
Yeah.
sneak peek of that last time. So for those who have been tuning in and tuning in and tuning in, they got a sneak peek. For those who have not been tuning in and tuning in and tuning in, those videos can be watched over at nasef.org/farmcraft. So they should go there and check out the sneak peek of the world that our full season challenge is going to take place in, which already looks super cool. And may be tweaked between now and then. So we're not going to give away too much of what's going on behind the scenes and what little fun twists are in there, but that stuff is very, very cool. So for preseason challenge 1, we asked all of our attendees to build a farm, and they did not let us down. We saw lots and lots of unique farms. And that was really cool. And for our next preseason one, which we shared last time, they had to kind of go bigger in that sense and feed a whole community. So we're going to be sharing some of those in just a little bit. But before we do, we want to remind everyone, which I kind of just did, of where they can find any and all information when it comes to the Farmcraft challenges. So real quick, super, very quick, I am going to share my screen.
You're not going to share your screen, Erik.
You can't tell me what to do or what not to do, I guess would be more accurate.
Share your screen.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's share screen.
It's official, everyone.
You can't tell me what to do. Okay. But if we go just to the nasef.org website, which of course is full of wonderful content and amazing things to learn and discover and participate in esports for your schools. But if we go up to learning specifically, we will see that Farmcraft is right here, NASEF Farmcraft 2021. You can also just go straight to nasef.org/farmcraft. It'll take you to the same place as will learning/farmcraft. But this is our Farmcraft page. And everything you need to know, from registering your teams to requesting licenses for Minecraft Education Edition, to learning the ins and outs, knowing when the dates are and the agendas are for all of our live streams, for when the challenges are due and things like that. All of that can be found all in one place right here for you. So I'm not going to go through the entire website because I feel like we've done that on a few streams already, but a few reminders, I suppose, are in order. The register your team button is right here on the right. There is a team registration guide. And again, that button is over here as well. And then there are standards. So if you're wondering how this aligns to the standards that you're teaching, there is an educational standards guide. Right now we are in the preseason challenges. And if you're wondering about the YouTube stream schedule, then you're probably not watching this, because if you know the schedule, you're here watching us live right now.
Oh, yes. And I mean, the crazy thing is this is our last preseason stream. The regular season starts in 2 weeks.
I know. So when we come back in 2 weeks for the next stream, yes, we're going to share out some of the preseason submissions that we got for Challenge 3, but then we're literally launching the big one.
Holy.
That came
My
out.
gosh.
That came out,
Uh-huh.
right? Are we making Brian nervous?
That's that's the big fear. That's like George McFly writing a book.
You're letting your child out into the
Making
world
it
for the
public,
first time.
subject to judgment.
Look, this is our first go around. We are excited to see how this keeps developing and developing. So, but honestly, from my experience getting to play with you in the world, I couldn't be more excited about it. So I don't think you've got to stress too much. At least no more than usual, I suppose. The usual work cycle sort of stress, right?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So again, you can find our YouTube streams, and as Cathy said, we're going to be leaving preseason very soon. As you join us for our Wednesday, March 24th live stream, that is when we will be sharing out our winners, or not our winners, I should say, but showcasing some of the challenges from the preseason, from the challenge we're going to announce today. And then we're going to be kind of digging into the heart of what the actual challenge is going to be for the season itself, which is super exciting. So all of that information can be found on the website, of course. When you are filling out the registration form for your team, there will be a button there to click if you do need to request Minecraft Education Edition licenses, because again, everything we do in this competition will be done using Minecraft Education Edition, not Java, not Windows Bedrock, not Pocket Edition, or any of the other editions that I'm not thinking of right now. So feel free to fill me in. Switch, I guess, would be one of them, right? And the PlayStation version, which is sort of Bedrock, but not really. So yeah, none of those. We are going with Education Edition, and for good reason. But you can request those licenses. So the good news is if you have no copies of the game whatsoever, you will have access. And that is wonderfully free of charge, thanks to all the amazing folks at NASEF. So we love that. Yay. Because it makes this the equitable program we want it to be. And if speaking of equity, our list of participating countries keeps growing. I think we're up to 28 countries or more now, which is super cool. All right, so the other thing to remember is, of course, that, and I'm going to pull this out of here real quick so I've got access to my stuff, is that you do submit to this project via Flipgrid. We're going to be sharing the Flipgrid at the end a little bit as we get into how to submit to this challenge, but we are kind of ready to announce, I think, or at least showcase some of our preseason challenge 2 entries, and then of course, dig into what this next challenge is going to be. We ready to do that?
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, bring it.
Right. I was wondering what the pigs were, what tab pigs were.
Yeah, you were probably looking at my tabs going, what is Pigs 3?
I know,
well, it turns out
doing that,
Pigs 3 is one of our team names.
So I'm curious.
Nice.
Yeah, from Pennsylvania, USA. So we're going to take a look at this entry.
Pennsylvania, those are our neighbors.
USA. Remember, by the way, that this challenge, the goal of this challenge was to kind of increase either your design from week 1 or to redesign altogether to feed a larger community. So let's check this one out.
Here we have lots of bamboo. Lots. Bamboo, cod. We have some
basically our main farm.
Wheat, potatoes, carrots. Here we have cooked pork chop, and then
watermelon.
Watermelons.
It's a lot of watermelon.
Something.
Yeah, it is.
Up there we don't have anything up there. So this is a village that was in our world when we spawned it. Brandon, there's random bamboo. What's that about?
I bet I accidentally planted that.
Okay, so this is our bamboo farm.
I designed this farm all by myself. It took me a little while to make.
Sugarcane
Farm.
Main farm. Brandon's agent harvests watermelons.
That would
so he
explain all the
harvests
watermelon, right?
watermelons.
You've got it programmed to automatically harvest your watermelons. Also, I really love the automated farms with the one glass side.
Rachel's
Just from a
house,
design standpoint, I thought that
little
looked really
house
cool.
thing.
I've
And then
seen,
over
like
here,
sugarcane
I
automated
did
farms
2
and
of
bamboo
them.
automated farms, but that looked really cool the way it
Was
set
my
up.
favorite. It's one of my best things that I did. It is an automatic. This one is an automatic cod killer. It kills them, cooks them, and gets them ready to eat. All we have to do is put them in the barn. Over
So
here,
fully automated
They built the
fish
processing
to plate,
center.
I guess, or farm to table automated.
or killer,
And cooker.
and cooker.
And
So-
cooker.
Yeah. So we're gonna pause here. This team seems to have done a lot of automation.
It's so awesome. It's the processing and all the processing. It's that's so funny. Maybe they're processing for Costco so much.
Right.
They
And I
got a
love what
large
happens
group
when
to
you.
feed, you know.
Oh, go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry.
They got a large group to feed, so you gotta get machines. Gotta
I
get
love
them
it.
robots involved.
That's right. Well, that was the challenge. And I love like what we see with all the ones we're going to share today is, like my brain, when I thought, oh, we have to feed a lot of people, is we're going to see just like sprawling landscapes of farm, right? That was my thought process. That's what we're going to see. When you have to feed a lot of people, we're going to see literally the amber waves of grain, if you will, just sprawling out for miles. But that's not necessarily the thought process that took place. In this one, it seems obvious that their goal was, how do we get the food from farm, essentially cooked, packaged, delivered as rapidly as possible, or harvested as rapidly as possible.
Well, and then they thought about the storage systems, right? Like all those large chests were almost like they're silos of food, or freezers, mass freezers or something.
Yeah. Right. So they had storage kind of solved and things like that. And we saw that in a lot of the entries, right? A lot of the entries had storage facilities. So it was something that everyone kind of went to. Like, obviously, if we're going to have a lot of food to feed a lot of people, we're going to need to store a lot of food to feed a lot of people. So that seemed like a consistent thing we saw. But I loved the automation in this sense, because when they showed you at the beginning the chests full of food, we could see the numbers that it was producing, right? Like, every box was full up to 64, as much as it could hold. And I was like, okay, so they either literally spent all week harvesting, filling box, or they automated it, in which case obviously was the case, even using their agent to harvest, which was really cool. Because
I wonder, did they have anything where so they had areas where they were harvesting, but then did they have a means to transport the food to those storage areas? Did I miss that, or did we?
I don't know that I saw it in there, but it's possible. We could let it play out the rest of it and see if that's something that is here.
Like if I put that in there, I always take out the bones because you can't really do anything with those except make.
They have the hoppers, and then they have these storage
Here
units.
is where the coal is.
Oh yeah, so in this case, it's falling through the hoppers into the furnaces,
into the chest.
And then from the furnaces,
smokers,
into the cooking station, then into the chest.
All these collect. One thing that we could have done to improve.
My question then is, in the case if that's for fish, are the fish
together,
falling to their death?
Yes, they are.
Efficient.
But it's
I heard
working.
efficient.
Okay, I worked on some of the redstone, and I made this house, and I farmed a little bit. Rachel,
I farmed
and Brandon.
I farmed and decorated and took care of the mascot.
Brandon.
I did most of the redstone, some farming, and a lot of the coding that made the watermelon farm.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
We can agree we all love Rachel, though, right?
Oh my.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
I love.
Good.
Don't interrupt me. I got to finish my thought here.
That's right.
I was part of this team.
Don't cut me
Love
off.
that.
I was an important part of this team.
Yeah, I love it.
All right,
Well,
so
you know what I'll
let's
say,
take
like before you play this,
Yeah,
like
sure.
how this video, they explain their thought process. I feel like sometimes when you just do a walkthrough, I don't know, it's taken so literally, like, okay, I'm walking through, and you should just know what I built here. So I love that this team, explained everything and said, this is what this is, and this is how it works, and this is how we made it happen behind the scenes.
Love it. So I'm going to do my best on this one to pronounce the location of this team. And I'm going to, if they're in the chat right now, they can, correct me, or I will correct myself and issue a retraction on our next stream. But the team is from Malta. And the name of the city in Malta or area in Malta is Tarskian. So I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. I could be way wrong. I would love to know if I'm wrong. So I have to Google that and click that pronunciation button and find out exactly if I'm saying it right. But we're going to take a look at the entry from a team called Jam Cases.
Hello everyone, this is the second group project with the group Jam Cases, and today we are going to give a tour of our farm and answer the questions in the diary. As you can see, we start off on this lifeboat. Then, to climb this ladder, you'll find a bunch of crops that are planted. Here we have some beetroots, some wheat, some potatoes, and some carrots. Once you go downstairs, you'll find a lot of chests and a lot of barrels, where we put all the crops that are harvested in here for storage when they're ready to be. If you go upstairs, you'll find the top sail, where you have a view of the boats from above. In this team, what were the different roles and tasks, and how did each member take care of it? How did we all work together to create one farm?
The roles in this team were me, Amelie, being the director, you, Amy, being the vice director, and Mia and Emma being the main builders. Together, via Microsoft Teams, we called to discuss the ideas, and together we built this world.
Why did your team design the farm this way? What were the different resources and factors you had to consider when creating the farm?
We built this farm this way to make it look like a pirate ship because I thought it would be a really cool idea, and we all agreed that as well. The different resources and factors we had to consider were pollution and water loss.
How would you upgrade this farm in the future? What are some ways you could change the farm to produce more?
Possibly we could fully automate the farm with redstone in the future, and maybe we could add some villagers so they themselves can automatically harvest and plant the crops. And what about you? How would the community access the resources when we farm the produce, and how would it benefit the community?
So, once the crops are ready for harvest, we then harvest them, place them in the storage compartment. The ship would sail to a specific land to deliver the crops, and then once we plant the crops again, then we sail out and go out to sea, so that then there will be less pollution and there will be more sunlight. Thank you for taking your time to watch the tour. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
So again, right, we expected huge sprawling farm, and we did not get huge sprawling farm. What we got instead was, when they brainstormed the notion of how do we feed communities, it was, what if the means for delivering that product and the means for growing the product were the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really my mind's going, you think about these old, these big barges and stuff that you used to deliver, that especially in biomes like the island biome in the game is a restricted space biome. So being able to even create your own farm environment on a vessel, super interesting idea.
Right, and yeah, this actually kind of works with what our next challenge is going to be. Maybe with some modification. We'd love to see these projects continue to develop and grow. But yeah, you're farming on the ocean in this case. And they considered things like pollution, which is why, I guess, if we look at it as a sailing vessel, then we're not consuming fuel, we're not outputting CO2. A lot of things were considered when you heard. And by the way, do we love the way they did the little interviews? I thought this
Oh
was
my
so
gosh,
good.
Yeah.
loving the interviews. And then Sam actually added something like what their next level could be, right? What would they need to, how would they genetically engineer their crops to ensure that they lived in the middle of the water?
Right, yeah. We would have to consider things like soil quality and water quality and things like that if you're going to be out in the ocean, or what routes to navigate, I guess, to avoid inclement weather, or if maybe you're trying to go into certain inclement weather to water crops and use that to your advantage, right? I think about you had mentioned all the sailing barges, and I've seen, not only have those shipping containers been used, of course, you've probably seen to make the tiny houses and things like that, right? People turn shipping containers into houses. But I've seen them turned into farms where they're like cut in half, and then those are used as like farming beds and things like that.
I mean, opened up, cut in half and opened up?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be distracted.
So now I'm thinking, like, if you took one of these old barges and you did that to the shipping containers, you're repurposing, all the things on that ship that maybe isn't in operation anymore. So I don't see this as impossible. I'm sure there are things we are not considering that probably have to be worked out logistically, but I like the idea so much. So kudos to the team from Malta. This was Jam Cases. So next, our next team we're going to look at, and we'll see how much time we have, and maybe we'll have a chance to look at a few more. Oh, this opened in a separate tab for some reason. Let's pull it over here. And we'll pause it. So this is another one from Hollywood, Florida. Yeah, and obviously they've got a massive build going here. Now, I don't know whether this is a build they'd worked on in the past, that they were like, hey, we can incorporate what we're doing into this. If they perhaps found a build and said, but we're going to use this as our community to farm, but you're going to see their solution. Their voices are a little low, so if it's too low for the audience to hear, we may kind of pause and kind of explain what they're saying.
Can you turn on the CC?
I can put on the closed captions, but as we've learned, they're not always accurate. For example, this is Jim Office solution is not
for fun. But it is fun.
Nailed it.
But it is great that it had included both Jim and the Office. So
that's true.
All right.
For Farmcraft Challenge 2, the premise of the build was to create a farm that could satisfy the needs for an entire city, and it would also be effective and viable to an entire city. Here we have a mock city, which was important, and we decided to be creative. We wanted to save space, so we could either build up or build down. We decided to build down because there would already be water pipes down.
So just to clarify that, because it was in the subtitles there, they basically said, they've got this sprawling urban landscape. And so there wasn't much room for farming, right? Especially to feed a large community like this. So their options were essentially to go up or down as opposed to out or within, because there's just not a lot of space. So they chose to go down. So we're going to see what they did as they go down.
Which would be easy for irrigation.
And I don't think that meant Gucci
the second part,
in the subtitles.
In the automatic farm, we would use robots or our agents. One agent would plant wheat, and we would go from row to row, keep on planting.
How's the agent planting so fast?
Time lapse.
They may have. It looks like they time lapse their video a bit. But you can also see that there's more than one person programming more than one agent to make this happen. So this was a multiple user coding project.
Oh boy! Oh yeah! I love
Cathy loves this one.
Yeah.
I do love it.
What blew me away was I thought that was really cool, right? And obviously, and I was like, yeah, but it's not like a huge portion of land. But then there are layer after layer of all of this. At the bottom, you can see automating the collection and delivery of it.
So we decided
So you see the layers of hoppers going through the center, and then there's mine carts going around collecting everything on each layer and then delivering it down each layer and down each layer. I mean,
that's fun.
Oh my goodness.
Right, and of course, including the glowstone in here means there's a light source underground so that the crops are getting what they need, at least in the Minecraft sense of things.
That's only for one time visit, and that's the effective way to do it. And this roof can be put on several times.
And they're talking about what each team member did at this point as well, which is very cool. Yeah, so when I first saw the city overview, I was like, there's a great city, but there's no farm here. And then, sure enough.
That's really awesome. So innovative and really, really creative. Like,
yeah, the subtitles are definitely not right based on the low audio.
Oh, so are they going to take us
levels.
somewhere else to where? Oh no, it's done. Okay.
I think they're just giving us a quick run through the city at this point, showing us the community that's being fed by that underground farming system.
That's really
so
cool.
I thought that was really cool. And to be honest, I was already blown away sort of when I saw that first layer in the automation, but we had seen some automation in our first entries. It wasn't until they panned sort of down and you saw layer after layer after layer of this where I was like, oh, there's your large community farming practice right there.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's
so interesting how people didn't just take the brute force approach of just use up more land, just spread it out, and everyone came out with a creative new way to be conserving and respectful of space, but either producing more faster or using space more efficiently.
Yep.
Cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that team, by the way, was the Automaniacs from Hollywood, Florida. So I want to make sure we shout out their name, even though they're on the screen.
In Broward?
That is in Broward.
Oh.
So I give myself a little pat on the back, even though I did not teach these students or help them. They clearly don't need me. But you know what? If they're watching, it's not an issue either way, but I'd love to know if they help develop that surface community as well. I know a lot of it was, and we saw other teams do this as well, saying we found a village and then we used that village as our community to provide food for. So in this case, if they had a template or a pre-existing world that they've worked on in the past and said, okay, here's a community, but let's focus on how we feed this community now. So let's add our farming practice to the community, which is what we saw. I still think that's a great use of that work.
Yeah, it was.
So very, very cool. So those are the ones we wanted to really showcase. I think at this point, what we'll do is we will jump into a Minecraft world because we want to talk about what preseason challenge number 3 is going to be.
Yay!
Right. So for challenge number 3, and we will be sharing the flip grid, of course, in just a little while. We want to share, of course, what the details of that challenge are going to be. But to give you a general sense of it, we've created farms. We've tried to feed a larger community. Now we're going to take those ideas and we're going to bring them into what we would consider a more extreme condition. Right? So that's our goal right now, is to bring those into an environment that is a little bit more extreme and possibly a little bit more difficult to farm in. Good news is we're getting some rainy weather.
Wow, look at that.
And it's gone. Brian, what are you doing?
Trust me, not this time. No,
not this time.
Not meddling this time.
A little. You're allowed to meddle a little bit.
Meddling kids, yes.
So we thought, desert is one that commonly gets done. In fact, we saw a few people actually do desert as some of their primary worlds, which means they've got kind of a jump start on this. We also saw some people use ice plains as their farming location, and that was great. But so we decided to go with the Badlands biome. And I see Brian has been digging some trenches and things while I've been away doing stuff. So we figured we would take a look at some things. Am I giving away secrets already?
No,
I didn't know what you were doing.
It's my competitive advantage,
That's right. I was busy sharing my screen and the NASEF site and the videos, and here you are playing. How dare you? but we figured we'd share some tips on things that may be beneficial. So in each of our videos, we've kind of been sharing some ideas or things that you could do. And in fact, I think back to our first video when we actually did, or maybe our second video actually, when we did an extreme biome of our own because we created a farm underwater. That was right. So that would be a way of considering. So maybe that's an environment you want to tackle. In fact, we just saw the fantastic project from the team in our second entry. I believe that was the team from Malta who did their farming on a ship, which again, if they're doing it on a ship, they're in an ocean biome. Not always an ideal place to farm. They found a way to do it. But if we want to feed a large community, then it's very likely, oh, Cathy's making a fun mess over there.
Well, yeah, well, you know what? I'm intrigued by the water harvesting method.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to knock out that little block of beets with water. All right.
So what I was thinking was this, is what if we had a quicker way to sort of generate farm plots so that we could kind of do that urban or that land sprawling farm that I was talking about earlier, right? We didn't get a lot of those entries. We had a few where our farm was very large, but we didn't get a lot. And that's not to say that the students didn't know how to do it, but it was more a case of their interpretation of the challenge was a little different than what we thought it would be. And that's not a bad thing at all. So we thought maybe let's try some commands that could allow us to replicate things or make things a little bit faster. Mm-hmm. So for example, I built this again by hand, a little farm plot here with just a block of water in the middle and some wheat seed, and created this little plot of farmland. But what if I wanted to keep doing this, right? I could come over here and build another plot and then come over here and build another plot, and I could do this all by hand. But there are some commands in Minecraft that allow us to do it a little bit quicker. The first thing that would help to do this, of course, is for me to turn on a couple settings. And one in particular is, if I'm in the game settings, is the show coordinates setting. This is one that I always recommend to students to have on, regardless of when or what you're building. I also make a recommendation that whenever you're working in Minecraft, especially if you're working creatively and you're building things on a large scale, I've got a notebook and a pen handy at all times. Or option B, if you're tech savvy, which I do too sometimes, is have my phone handy because I want to keep track of coordinates on my screen. So you can see in the top left corner of my screen now, I've got the coordinates of where I am in this world, which is super great. So I want to duplicate this plot. And I just stepped on this part of the farm and messed up this.
Oh, and you got to put the seeds back.
Now I'm putting the seeds back. And you know what? Here, we'll make them pretty again. We'll fertilize with some bone meal. So what we want to do, and I'll pick up these seeds over here that I destroyed, is we want to know the coordinates that we want to copy, right? That we want to clone, if you will. And we're going to use the word clone because that's literally what the command is called in Minecraft. So I'm going to write down those coordinates that are on screen. It is -211. By the way, that is my X coordinate. 64, that is my Y coordinate. And -7023, that is my Z coordinate. Now, many students are familiar, especially our younger students, with X and Y coordinates because they've done, coordinate planes and, and graphing. We have a third coordinate here, of course, because we're in 3D space. Our X is our left and right. So you can see the left as if I'm facing this way, as long as I'm facing the right way. The X coordinate is changing as I walk left and right. If I go forward and back, that is our Z coordinate, that's depth. And then of course that leaves one coordinate, and that is our up and down. So if I fly up, the Y coordinate goes up, and if I fly down, the Y coordinate goes down. So those are my coordinates. So what I want to clone is from this corner of the farm, oh, fell in my water, over to this corner of the farm. Because what that would do is basically it's like if you're dragging on your computer screen from a corner to a corner, you're selecting everything in that square if you go corner to corner. And I bet Brian has some really good ideas for this too. I just see it on his face, but he's busy working on something I'm not supposed to talk about.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Okay, good.
I'm here watching. I'm learning.
So I wrote down the coordinates at this corner by standing in the right place. And now I'm going to stand in at this corner. And I'm just doing some basics right now. And we're going to write down these coordinates as well. So now we've got -207. See, for Steve notebook, 64.
I can give you a little...
and 7017, negative.
Yeah, notepads are good.
Yes. Notepads are good.
I have. What's really annoying is like it doesn't keep your position on screen when you're trying to type your command. So when you pull up your command prompt, your coordinates go away, which is totally not ideal. Which is why you need the paper. One of the cool things,
I take a picture of the coordinates on my screen with my cell phone. Hold it up, take a picture of it, then find my other location, take a picture of it, and then I just go into my photos on my phone and find my coordinates.
You know what I do?
Yeah.
I put my agent at that position. I mean, I still have to write it down, but then that's what confirms.
Okay, so let me blow your mind here. So
I would love to have my mind blown.
So first of all, get rid of the no, actually you're fine. So go to one of the corners and make sure your crosshair is pointing at that piece. Okay.
Let's try this a different way.
Okay. Sorry, I'm
gonna do it too. We'll
show it a variety of ways because there's going to be one way that works for one person and basic ways that work for other people.
First thing you have to know is like where the lowest corner is, but so the lowest X and the lowest Z. So just head in one direction to see if the number.
So lowest X is going to be over here and lowest Z is going to be here. So it's actually this corner.
No, lowest X is the higher number because they're minus.
Oh, they're negative. They're negative. They're negative.
So
no one told me we were doing a math lesson today.
You're in it, yeah. So it's good to kind of anchor yourself in the low corner because when you paste, it's going to use that low corner as your reference point to build outward. So do a /clone.
Yep. So we're going to type /clone
space and then tab space tab space tab.
Oh, space tab. You've just blown my mind.
And then hit enter.
Wait a minute, I'm writing this down.
It's going to fail because it's not complete. Go to the other corner.
Well, now I know exactly what you're going to do. Now I know exactly what you're going to do.
Wait.
So I'm going to look at this corner. I'm going to do or just bring up T to bring up the chat. If I press
the up arrow.
Right, then there's this one. So now we're going to tab space. Wait,
no.
That's not doing
tab.
anything.
Tab.
Space. Tab. Space. Tab.
Oh
my God, those are the coordinates.
Time out. Lower your Y by 1 so you pick up your farmland soil.
Yep.
And your water.
Yep. By the way, though, those are, and I was going to talk about doing that, but those are literally the coordinates I wrote down.
Yep. And so now,
amazing.
so hit enter again.
Right.
And it'll fail.
Right. Because
so now go to where you want your location, and then you'll press again. It's going to anchor the lowest of all 3 coordinates. So you're going to want to look at the ground where you want the farmland soil to go. And now it's going to build to your right. So you don't want to put it there because.
So maybe here.
I think the safe way would be to build it on the other side of it, like on the higher side of it.
But there's some falling land there, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it should.
All right, so let's build it here and see what happens. So we're gonna press up, and now we're going to do tab again.
Yep, 3 more times, looking at that sand block.
And that's it.
And then enter.
So things fell, but we've got a plot. It did not bring my crops with it, though.
It did not bring the crops. Did you lower the Y on both cases, or
I
just
did,
one?
And that's
you just
right. So we can correct for that. So let's just move up another one again, and let's look here.
Since the command is saved, you can just go through and edit the second one.
And we're going to change this one. We can even bring the air in, so we can go 2 up.
Sure.
And actually, that's good because I've had experiences where I've done it several blocks up because I started building into like a cliffside or a mountainside, and it deletes that cliffside
Clears
if
it
we
out
fill
for
in
you.
all the air above it. So that second Y coordinate, which is right here, that 65, we could really make that like 100, and it would just fill everything above it.
Right. Right.
All right, so let's run it. Oh, something did not happen.
Yeah.
Well,
It put it right back in the same spot where it was before, not where you're standing.
oh,
now.
right. I gotta tab again.
So if you wanted to do it relative to your current position, then you just
do
tab
the tilde,
once.
right?
Yeah. So you would just tab once.
But yeah, I'm standing one block short of where I should be and not where I'm looking.
Wait,
So I'm gonna
so
tab this again.
Tab is the world position.
Tab picks up the position of what you're looking at, the block that you're looking at.
And then just plain tab
is just like your current standing position. So like the tab is what you're looking at, and the tab with the tilde is just where you
I
are.
can just do this.
I need my handy Minecraft notebook.
Tab, and boom. And just keep doing this. See, and this is what I was talking about. We're going to get to what I was talking about here. I'm going to delete those 3 coordinates again. I think I went too far. I think that was 16. You know what? Let's just escape, and then I'll do it again. There we go. That was 17. See, good thing I escaped. And we'll tab, space, tab. And what you'll notice is we're going to get into a point here. If I keep doing this, oops, I broke the crop instead of the land. I want to look here.
That's a little giveaway for the game too, by the way.
Yeah.
The hitbox of the crops is important to notice.
A little bit. So let's do this one more time, because what I wanted to show is it's going to fill the air above this. So it's actually going to get rid of all this, dirt and sand block above.
Yeah.
So one more time, we will go up and we'll tab. And you'll see it actually did get rid of the thing around it. Now, it didn't get rid of this because I was not cloning anything here, so we can break those. But yeah, see, it literally carved it into the mountain for me, because in my command on that second Y coordinate, so here's X, Y, Z of the first coordinate, X, Y, I made this much higher. So it's going to fill everything above that 63 up to 100 with air, because it's cloning the air as well. And then, of course, we can just keep spamming. So that's one way to do this very rapid fire and fill up an area very quickly with farm plots. So now, Brian, you were working on something that you were keeping secret from us.
Oh, no, I've been over here with you, but I was messing around with the agent, just having some fun with that. Cathy seems to be. We know Cathy is the resident agent. Yeah. She's our secret agent.
Wait, so Cathy, was this whole thing built by the agent, or did it just like put the dirt block down?
No, this is a clone of your plot, but I used the agent to do it. And then what I was trying to do, because I like the idea of who did it. Oh, now I can't remember which team, but the team that built in layers instead of in area.
That was
the last team. So Brian
Automaniacs.
Yeah. So Brian made a point to mention that they didn't use tons of expansive space. They used vertical space, which sometimes so I was trying, and I don't know, I was trying to do that kind of build a vertical farm instead of.
So the question is, how can we clone it so that it's layered?
Right. So what I started doing was I was thinking, okay, so I have clone plot, but I also, what happened, the reason that it's a raised bed there was because I had it start at the agent, where the agent position is. And I guess I really wanted to go down one level so that it was flush with the ground. So I was just trying to figure that out. But then I also added a variable so that, that's why it didn't work. Because, wait, no, I did do that. Clone plot 3. Let's see. No, nothing's happening. Oh, no, there's one.
No, that was me.
That was you. All right.
I did that.
Like, look, it worked, but it didn't. Okay, so hold on. There's a few things that are missing. I need all right.
I could have done.
I think I need to say at the agent position. I got to get rid of that. Whoops, at agent position. I'll just deal with All right, let's see what happens. So this is, I want that to go 3 layers, I hope. So
Tell me when it works. I want to see it happen.
Oh, but it's sand.
Sand.
Went on my head. But it did work.
It did. Oh my
work.
gosh, that's so funny. Yes, sand. It's a thing.
Oh, look at that. Also, look in between the layers because the water block is now flowing from layer to layer.
That is cool.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
like that.
All right, let's get rid of the sand. Let's see. Oh, whoops, got rid of some. Oh, that is cool.
So here's
it brought the layer of sand that was around it with it. I see what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things you could do, Erik, maybe
Yeah.
Cathy, let Erik help you out with that sand. So if you do your thing where you go look at the one bottom corner, like one of the bottom corners.
Right.
And Cathy, you could do this too, but at least everyone will be able to see it on Erik's screen.
Yeah.
So look at it, and
I would have to put a block here to look at, though, right?
no, just the sand,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So we're gonna do a quick replace of all a quick delete of all the sand.
Oh boy.
I put a block on top here.
No, the sand on the ground, all the sand that fell. She wants to get rid
I
of
thought
it.
you wanted me to do this. I'm going to do this anyway because I want to see if it works.
Yeah, it'll work. Yeah.
There you go.
And then.
Oh no, never mind. It double stacked that layer somehow.
Oh.
Weird.
See, you're not you. So go to the bottom.
Yeah.
And look at what the bottom corner block. So we're going to use the tab. So you're going to do fill this time.
Oh, fill with air.
Down on the ground, right there. Yeah.
This block.
Down. Yeah. Right. And the stream is laggy, so I'm not sure what you're looking at. So yeah. So do your /fill. Tab, and then hit enter.
Tab.
And so and then go to the other, opposite upper corner. It doesn't matter which one's lower or higher since you're using opposite corners.
Well, I know what you're going to do.
And don't hit enter. Like, so you're going to do your 3 tabs.
Hold on, I'm
now.
looking at the wrong block. I need to look down here. There we go. I'm going to do my tab.
No, you need
tab.
65.
We're going to fill with air, right?
But do air and then space 0 and then replace.
Right.
And then what is that? Is that red sandstone or orange? Red sand? Or just type, if you start typing sand.
I think it's red sand.
It is red sandstone. No, it's red sandstone.
So you know what you're going to do? Try just sand. Try just sand. And you're probably going to have to do an identifier, like an ID to it. But try it without an ID.
Okay.
And then see what happens.
Well, it got rid of a layer of it.
Yeah, because you selected the bottom contiguous layer rather than the bottom and the upper.
Do now is I can just because it all fell, I'll just do it again.
Same command, yep. So that way you could selectively pick which block you want to replace inside of a big selection volume. Because if you just filled that with air, you would have gotten rid of everything in that space.
Right.
But a fill with a replace.
Just replace that block.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's really helpful for doing big big sets of changing things.
All right, so I probably need 1 less on each corner. So that would be
I'm just going to spam farm plots for a bit.
2707. Well, I guess we'll see. I don't know where we are. 21. Okay. I'm going to say, I'm going to come over here. This time I'm going to do clone plot 10. Nope. Nothing.
You didn't expect things to work on the first try, did you?
No, well, plus I didn't bother to really figure it out. Took the, I was just like, oh yeah, this is what it is.
Right.
That's the fun part about the play button is, you do a little bit of predicting what it's going to do, but you can just press play and see what it does.
Right. So I think
letting the compiler.
I think my strategy, if I was going to build a massive farm, would be to spawn first just the dirt plots, maybe like 5 or 6 of them, in each of them then plant all the crop that I want in it, and then clone those everywhere so that I get rows of one particular crop and a row of the next particular crop by cloning the initial one that I created. That makes sense?
Yeah, that's pretty
Right.
cool.
So if I just have one plot with each type of, produce, for example, or crop, then I can just say, okay, I'm going to clone this one, put it everywhere I want to put it. Then I'm going to do this one. Maybe the next one is, beetroot, and then put that one everywhere I want to put it, and so on.
Yeah, that's cool.
Or to be honest, I could just go back to the original, change the crop, and then go back to what I was doing, and it would have the new crop in it.
Is at -180.
Let's try that. Let's do this. So let's get rid of all this in just the original plot that we've been cloning. Are we using a structure block?
Just testing,
Yeah. You're like one block off.
Yeah, it's like I can't see.
Unfortunately, Minecraft Education Edition doesn't have like the sort of copy paste element of the structure block built in.
Yeah. 116 has like an actual structure command, which is super nice. Yeah.
Does it spell beat correctly? It helps if you spell correctly. I don't know if everyone knows that.
So now it's at 180, 65, 722.
So let's do this. This is that original plot. I'm changing the crop.
-20.
Yep. Let's go ahead and fertilize these just to make them pretty.
718. Oh, 65. Minus.
All right. So now let's come over here and let's do our command again. We're going to get rid of those last 3 location coordinates.
Oh my goodness.
Have tab, space, tab, and now we've got beetroot over here. It's really a question of knowing where to look when you're ready to place it.
What?
All right, so I don't want to do it here because that will copy whatever Cathy was doing over here. It'll plop a farm right on top of her stuff.
I went to the wrong place.
Also, when I used to build this stuff, I used to say, okay, we got to clear all the area. Like there's a cactus right here, right?
Wait, who did this? Ryan, did you do this?
What is it?
I don't know. It looks like it's layers of gold, like a little.
No.
Like it looks like a parking deck, but that wouldn't be happening in.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't it?
That's probably. I wonder if that's your.
Oh, maybe I did it.
Oh,
could that have been?
I'm very dyslexic here.
I could have done it.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, I think I did do it because I maybe entered the wrong coordinates.
Okay, that's cool though. Serendipity, that's fun when you.
Like, oh, you mean these lines of layers? Are these something you were trying
I
to
made a
clone?
parking deck.
That's a Bob Ross happy accident.
Cloning the wrong location coordinates, I guess. But what you did is you mined all of this gold into the exterior of the world. So bonus gold.
Oh my goodness. What on earth? I don't know how I did it.
It's fun to play with. I would recommend for anyone who wants to get started doing clone commands who hasn't used them before, find yourself a blank world or a flat world, and just practice before you go into your world projects and start cloning, or make a copy of the world that you already have before you go and start cloning. Because as you can clearly tell, things, even if one number is off, can go horribly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I don't know what I did here because I only cloned. Do you see where the agent is? I only cloned one strip of land of the farm instead of a plot, and now I don't know where the plot is either. And
right.
I think I made some more.
Are you making more parking lots?
I'm making more parking decks, yeah.
Fantastic. But you don't know where they went. What's funny is when we did the Minecraft Masters Challenge, believe it or not, something like this did happen. Remember, there was one team that was cloning areas that they were going to use to build parts of their game into during the final challenge. And all of a sudden we looked up in the sky and there were like just some sporadic half
Yeah,
fields and things
that
like
might have
that,
been
like
my
way off
team.
on the side.
The team that
Right.
was building with me.
Right. But yeah, that was definitely the world that I was hosting. But the thing is, it had nothing to do with the game. It had no effect on the game. It's like looking behind the code, you know?
Right. All right. Well, that was fun. What was the other thing that? All right. I
Right.
need.
So what we want to do now before we go today is we want to make sure that we take a look at the Flipgrid. So we're going to pull open the Flipgrid, and I do need to log in, so apologies. My Flipgrid was not logged in advance, and it really should have been.
No, I don't. And I don't think anybody's does. I'm
Okay.
logging in all the time.
That's right. So it's not my fault.
No.
Don't blame me anymore. No
Not
blame.
today.
Okay, so we're going to pop this over here. And this is, of course, the main page to the Flipgrid when you go there. And of course, you'll see that the Preseason Challenge 3 link is now live right here on the front. It is also in our drop-down topic. Preseason Challenge number 3 is here. So if we go to Challenge 3, we'll go through the details a little bit more specific. So it says, using Minecraft Education Edition, visit the library to view the variety of biomes. Select 2. So we did 1 today, but select 2 contrasting biomes. For example, snowy and cold ice plains with hot desert, the dry badlands with humid jungle. And in your team or with your team, consider what resources you need and how to design 2. So in this case, you're building 2 farms, one in 2 very contrary biomes. So for example, if you do desert, obviously very dry, your next one's going to want to be very wet and very rich soil kind of environment, 2 very contrary environments. And we're going to let you choose which 2 you pick, but they should be opposing. And then you're going to give us a tour of those 2 and talk about the differences between what you would need to do to be successful planting in one biome as compared to planting in the other biome. So in your diary, you're going to give us a tour and you're going to answer the questions as always. In this case, what was the experience farming in 2 biomes, or was the experience farming in 2 biomes different in Minecraft? How did your team design the farms? What were the different factors you had to consider when creating your farms? What factors would you have to take into account? And how is Minecraft farming different from in real life? Because all of these questions, right? So you see there's even more questions there. All of these questions are the questions that we're leading you into the big challenge, right? Because you're going to be farming in these 2 different biomes. And as you notice, we were putting farm plots into the Badlands biome. And it hasn't really been all that difficult, provided we included what we needed. But in the real world, I would imagine farming there and saying where we farmed last time, on just like a farmland would be very different. Farming underwater would be shockingly different than farming here. So,
What?
but in Minecraft, that's not always the case. There are little factors, but it's not always the case that they're shockingly different. So it's time to make ourselves a little aware of that. Okay, so not only, and we can refresh this now. I've been told it is now live. Yeah, look at that. Our record button is there. It is now live. Now, again, you can go back to our old videos if you're not sure how to record. We've gone through the process of recording in Flipgrid, so that should be familiar to you. But also don't forget to go back into challenges 1 and 2, where you can now see people's responses and you can like and comment. Now, we know the comment feature was off for a little bit when we first rolled these out. You can now comment on these as well as the ones in Preseason Challenge 2. And more are getting published each day. We should see quite a few, actually, if we go back in Preseason Challenge 2. Let's go to the Challenge 2 link. And look, yeah, we've got 43 of them published here already, including some of the ones you saw before. So you get a chance to look through those, see what other teams did, like, comment, get involved in a conversation, because that's the cool stuff, right? Look, in fact, if I look at this farmer here, I have a feeling that this team did something very similar to what we were doing today.
Mm-hmm.
So take a look at those and see what some of the teams have done. Also, take a look at what teams did in the Preseason Challenge 1 compared to their Preseason Challenge 2, because many of our teams took the worlds they already started and just enhanced them, made them bigger, built upon them, came up with new ideas of how they wanted to run things. So you can see how their projects are evolving. So I would recommend doing that. Any last thoughts from either of you, from Brian, from Cathy, taking us out of this challenge and letting the kids free to take on challenge number 3, and taking us out of challenge number 2.
I think the cool thing is the process that you're going through. Like you know, a lot of people say the process is better than the product, right? So
I say that.
Yeah, right. So
if there are any of my kids are watching, they know I said that.
I think it's
all the time.
Yeah, it's a super valuable way of thinking, and so I think that understanding your process, the way you thought, the creative things you came up with, and and then the outcome, and assessing what was good, what was bad about it, what would you do differently, and then you have this aspect. Now we just revealed like what 40 plus other people in the world are thinking. So seeking inspiration, collaboration. I saw little heart icons there, so you can show someone that you like their idea by hitting the little heart icon, probably. So that would be cool to get that collaboration going. And I think that's really interesting. And when you get to the competitive part of the game, it's not going to be so open, like build your own thing. We're going to force you into a very confined structure, but what's going to have to be your thinking is what's the process we're going to use to come up with an outcome, and what are the decisions we're going to make, and things like that. So it's not going to be a build contest when it comes to the competition. It's going to be a process contest.
In fact, one of our teams today, when they were doing those interviews, right, our team from Malta, they had given themselves assigned jobs, right? There was, directors and builders and all these
vice
jobs.
director. Don't forget the vice
director. That's going to be something that, and
working
also
up the
like
ladder.
Jobs like mayor of Farmcraft. Those are going to be things, and jobs that you may want to consider as you go through the actual season. So start thinking about those things now. It's a really good idea. Cathy, any closing statements, or did Brian totally take the words out of your mouth?
He totally took it out. It's fine, because you know what? So many times I say these things, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not that I think I'm the only one that says it, but it's like when somebody else is thinking the same way as me, then it affirms that that's what I literally just said this the last 2 days. The reflection is as important, or if not more important, than your final product, because you get to, like Brian said, what went wrong? What could I do better? I'm not doing it this way again because it took me, X amount of time to do it. I could do it so much more effectively and efficiently. And if we, it's an opportunity for improvement.
Exactly. All right. So I think our time is about up on this live stream. I want to thank both of you. As always, I want to thank the behind the scenes folks at NASEF, and especially Sam, who couldn't be with us on the call, but she's here with us in I think kind of voice in the background. Noah's here with us.
The ghost is here.
Oh, there she is.
I heard it.
The ghost of Sam is with us. So thank you, Sam, for everything as always. Please make sure you tune in for our next live stream, which will be Wednesday, March 24th at this same time. So this is all of us, Cathy, Brian, myself, signing off.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to what you create.
All right.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Bye.